Refusability. It's a compelling group exhibition that invites viewers into a vital dialogue about some of the most pressing issues of our time. It's curated by Brenton, Maart and Leora, Farber, and it's a call to action. It's a space for reflection, and it's a testament to the potential hidden within waste. It also challenges us to gaze differently at what surrounds us and also to imagine a future that is rooted in resistance. Well, the opening is on the 30th of July. It's happening at UJ FADA Gallery, but perhaps also just featuring a thought-provoking live performance by Oupa Sibeko. To tell us a little bit more, we're going to be joined by project manager Sinead Fletcher and one of the artists showcasing, Usha Seejarim. On that note, good morning, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Sinead, I'm going to start with you. Perhaps
Sure.
the inspiration behind all of this. Obviously, it's topical in our society, but if we're looking at how it was curated and that creative process, tell us a little bit more about that process.
I think a great place to start is actually to introduce who we are. And
Okay.
who we are is VIAD Research Centre, and we are housed within the University of Johannesburg.
Okay.
And what's so fantastic about this year is that it's UJ's 20th birthday.
Yes.
And alongside that, it's VIAD's 18th. So we are really looking at the growing with the University of Johannesburg, and this year really is a marker of that. And how we are doing that alongside UJ is we're reimagining the future. And the Refusability exhibition is in tandem, right?
Yes.
So we're using the Refusability exhibition to reimagine a potential future. And where we come from as VIAD Research Centre and what our interests are is essentially creative practice and decolonial practice.
Okay.
And really where that is grounded is in issues and traumas of colonialism that are still prevalent within a lot of the issues that we're facing within Africa and the global south. And the exhibition that we have on show is doing exactly that. It's asking these very important questions about how do we address and redress and reimagine a future which is approaching the world with a little bit more of a decolonial perspective.
Yeah.
How do we subvert? How do we question? How do we take the realities that are still very much prevalent with a lot of actions and unfortunate issues of extractivism, mining, of resources, which is still happening in Africa, which is still happening in South America, and how do we answer those questions? Yeah. And the Refusability exhibition is attempting to do that with the work of our incredible artists, Usha being one of them. We have 10 other artists on show. And what the artists are really doing is they're taking what we could call toxic waste,
yeah.
And waste materials, which are byproducts of consumerism, capitalism, and using them and changing their narrative and offering space to reimagine, to reflect, and to think differently about our future,
yeah.
From a decolonial perspective, and more importantly, from an Africanized perspective.
Yeah. So, Usha, let's bring you to the conversation. Thank you for painting that picture. I mean, even the play on the word refuse, right? There's fuse, there's the element of fusing, and then obviously refusing, hence rejecting those social constructs. And so if you're reimagining, rewilding, perhaps also using art as resistance, tell us a little bit more about what you've portrayed through this piece for you.
So I've made what's called an installation artwork, which is a work that takes space and changes according to the space that it's shown in. And I work a lot with domestic materials, and in this particular work I've worked with grass brooms. I think there's about 6,000 of them that fill the whole space and create almost like a nest-like feeling. And so for me, I always start with the object, and in this case, it's a broom. It's a broom that we use in our homes. It's something that everybody knows. It's such a familiar object. But I've taken the sticks out, so it's just the heads,
Yes.
and then in multiple, made like a whole new experience, a whole new world where you kind of enveloped into this work that takes over you.
And if you look at how it's received and how people are also, being part of these conversations, they're not new, right? But we're looking at our contemporality and the ripple effects of what's playing out. It's about also restoring agency and having more Afrocentric approaches as the benchmark, right? Vis-a-vis your Western constructs, white supremacy, patriarchy as well. I mean, what healing is coming through as well? Sinead, any feedback from the other artists as well?
Yes, absolutely. There's definitely other artists that are very much looking at this idea of healing. One of them being Leora Farber, the other being Oupa Sibeko. And just to make a small correction, our opening is on the 31st of July, which is next week, Thursday evening. And Oupa Sibeko is going to be doing a live performance for us on that evening, which we are so looking forward to. But both him and Leora look at this idea of healing and really taking these really difficult ideas and issues and saying to viewers, how do we look at these things? How do we sit with these feelings and this trauma that comes from it? And how do we look at how to move forward? How do we regrow? How do we redress? How do we play together and heal together in a way that reimagines a new future? And it definitely is taking a very Africanized approach with the idea of community and indigenous knowledge as well. So yeah, there's definitely ideas of healing that are very, very strong within what we're doing.
Is there a sense of political will, given how much time has passed and sort of what we're still seeing playing out from an artist's perspective, even if we're looking at what still gives you hope?
You know,
what were you exploring through that for you, with yourself?
I think I am an eternal, I'd like to believe that I'm an eternal optimist.
Okay.
But I think the way the world is going at the moment, I think feels to me like a regression. I think it feels like we've made so much progress in terms of, gender identity and the ecology and the environment and how we see each other. But at the moment, I'm feeling quite despondent. And hopefully, through art making, we can work through those emotions and those issues. But honestly, right now,
more questions and answers at this point. Just remind us about where it's happening, what time, how do people also get in touch, get tickets as we wrap up?
So it's next week, Thursday evening, 31st of July, 6:30 p.m. We are hosting it at FADA Gallery, which is at the University of Johannesburg's Bunting Road campus. You can get in contact with us via our website, which is viad.co.za, viad.co.za.
Sinead this morning. Sinead Fletcher is the project manager, and artist Usha Seejarim. They were chatting about refusability. As you heard, it's an exhibition that underscores human resilience and creativity amid the destruction. Curator Leora Farber and artist Usha Seejarim, of course, just part of the many artists out of 10 that are showcasing there. Again, that's happening on the 31st of July at the FADA Gallery at UJ.